good everyone, it's your boy Yidzig, 4 Eyes, 2 G's here, and today we're here to talk about Lil Tecca, who is gearing up for the release of his debut album, Virgo World, of course following up from the massive 2019 he had, which was his breakout year to the mainstream. Now, I've been requested time and time again to kind of cover this topic and the state of Lil Tecca's career, because a lot of people are talking and kind of have their own opinion on it, and I want to break it down and give my perspective in the lead up to the project that drops this Friday. Let's break it down.
Yeah, let me talk to you, yeah. Talk what you wanna do, yeah. We gon' break the rules, yeah. I done fell in love with an east side girl, fell in love, yeah. Fell in love, yeah, yeah. I done fell in love with an east side girl.
Okay, first of all, it's always good to start with some context. As most of you guys will know, kind of needs no explanation by now, Lil Tecca of course broke out with the huge smash that was Ransom, backed by the Cole Bennett video. As soon as this dropped, it just exploded and went to a whole other level. And this is one of the most prime examples of Cole Bennett's ability to just take a relatively unknown kind of pop and SoundCloud artist and just explode that song to global pop status. If you guys didn't know, as you can see on screen right here, Ransom actually hit #1 on the overall Spotify charts and is actually nearly hit 1 billion streams on Spotify, including the remix and the original version put together, which is insane to think about. Plus, on top of this, it wasn't only Ransom. Ransom was kind of like the entry point into the mainstream for Tecca, and then from there, it kind of signal boosted the rest of his already pre-existing music and music that was released after. And on his debut commercial project, We Love You Teka, which was a compilation of old and new songs, he had quite a number of really successful songs, which you can see on screen right here, that got streamed a lot. Love Me, over 200 million streams, Did It Again, nearly 200 million streams, Shots, 80 million streams. So yeah, people do like to paint Tecca as kind of like a one-hit wonder, and in terms of like that mainstream pop status, sure, he only has that one hit, but if you really look at the numbers, as you can see on screen right here, off that one project, he had quite a number of quote-unquote smaller internet hits, I would say at least. Crucially, on top of that, if you guys didn't know, it actually sold 68,000 in its first week, which is crazy, and in the second week, it sold 49k, which is very impressive, because normally in the second week for an album, we kind of see it drop off a lot, sometimes 50, 60, 70%, because generally people will not be streaming it as much. But to hold that type of retention over the course of the second week just speaks to the fact that people were really streaming this project, were really enjoying it, and it kind of does make sense because this was kind of dropped in the peak of his hype and the peak of that Ransom era, so it kind of does make sense. But yeah, very impressive numbers nonetheless. And on top of that, just to mention as well, it also got certified gold, which is always nice to see. Now, that's kind of like the context leading up to this album. Then this leads us to Virgo World, which of course is his upcoming project dropping this Friday. Now, we've kind of seen Tecca try to kickstart a rollout, or Tecca's label try to kickstart a rollout with numerous singles over the past year or so. The only problem is it's basically been false start after false start. As you can see right here, they've tried to roll out about 6 or so singles, and out of the 6 singles, only one of them, Out of Love, has only hit in a minor way. And I know that might be a bit of a controversial statement, but really you just got to look at the Spotify streams I've kind of dug up right here. As you can see, Why You Mad, 13 million, I Don't Know, 14 million, All Star, 26 million, which isn't too bad. Out of Love, which as I said has been the only one to kind of stick on a minor level, 54 million, Royal Rumble, 3 million, Our Time, 1 million, and this is in chronological order, so the last 2 singles that he's released have only done 3 and 1 million a piece. Now compare that for a second to the other Spotify stats I showed you earlier for his previous project, and it really needs no explanation. Of course, there's a huge difference. Now, of course, this isn't a fully one-to-one comparison. I'm not trying to paint the picture that Lil Tecca has done or anything like that, but he really hasn't been able to have a major hit like a Ransom or anything comparable to a Ransom out of the singles they've tried so far. And as you can see, they've tried 6 different singles. When a label releases 6 singles leading up to a project, that means they're just throwing shit at a wall at that point. They're just putting out whatever they think might stick because they're kind of desperate and realize nothing is working so far, so they're just releasing songs hopefully to try to catch a hit before the project drops. Now, on top of that, just some further stats to kind of back up what I'm saying. As you can see with the YouTube views right here, Our Time, which as I said was his most recent single, only has 400,000 plays on the video, 200,000 plays on the audio, plus Royal Rumble isn't doing much better, nearly 2 million plays on the video over 2 weeks ago. Now moving on to Out of Love, which as I said is probably the best performing single of the project so far, over 7 million views on the video, and as I said, over 50 million streams on Spotify. And although this has been a mini hit and has kind of performed pretty well, as I said, compared to the other songs of his that kind of blew up last year, it really hasn't performed perform to that level. These are the total playlist followers for the song right now, and as you can see, pretty much over the last month or so, it's been decreasing and decreasing. And what this translates to is the fact that the song isn't getting playlisted and isn't getting pushed and isn't getting promoted as much as it was a month ago. AKA, the label kind of realizes that the song is peaked and they're not putting money into the promotion and money into the playlisting anymore. So that means, generally speaking, the song is peaked and we're not really going to see the song get much bigger from here, which unfortunately isn't a good sign. Now, on top of that, we also have to move to his Spotify monthly listeners, which, as you can see right here, currently sits at 12.1 million as of right now. Now, just for comparison's sake, this article right here by Spotify themselves that was released on August 27th. Keep in mind, We Love You Teka was released on August 30th, so it was around this period that the album was released. And this says right here, as you can read, that Teka had 19 million monthly Spotify listeners at the time of release of the project. So comparing the two kind of eras, if you will, kind of side by side, when he's releasing this project, he has about 12 million monthly Spotify listeners, whereas when he was releasing We Love You Teka, he had 19 million monthly Spotify listeners. So that kind of says right there the kind of difference in climate for Lil Tecca. Now, I just realized I kind of spelled out a lot of stats and just kind of went bang, bang, bang. But basically, what does this translate to? Is Lil Tecca gonna flop? How is he gonna do? Also, guys, just quickly, I put a lot of effort into getting the specific numbers and kind of researching the data, the playlist followers, and all the streams for you guys. So if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe as well, turn on notifications, comment on the video to show your support and appreciation. That would mean a lot. But let's get back to the video. In my opinion, compared to We Love You Tecca, which again sold 68k first week, which was super impressive, I don't think he's gonna get there. I don't think he's gonna do better numbers than that project. So if we're comparing it head to head to that project, I'm pretty confident in saying that he's probably gonna perform worse than that project. Of course, unless he kind of does merch bundles and that kind of works out in that way, so he does better. But yeah, in terms of actual streaming numbers, I don't expect him to do better just off the rip. Now, what's also super important to mention, especially in the case of Teka, which I'm going to explain in a second, is that first week numbers aren't everything in this case, because crucially, I don't know if you guys saw this right here, Lil Tecca just posted this on his Instagram the other day, which is a picture with Lil Uzi Vert, as you can see right here. Plus, on top of that, people are saying he actually has a video with Cole Bennett that features Lil Uzi Vert. Now, if this releases kind of this week or next week, I think that's going to change the playing field for Lil Tecca massively. First of all, that's actually the first time Lil Uzi Vert has ever been on Cole Bennett's channel, if I'm not mistaken. And second of all, of course, it's fucking Lil Uzi Vert. That's basically a guaranteed hit, or at least a guaranteed internet hit. So yeah, I don't think it's completely over for Lil Tecca. Even if he does terrible first week numbers, or he kind of does average first week numbers, I think this Lil Uzi Vert feature could be a big look for him, and it definitely will be a big look for him, but it could kind of turn his career around and get him that hit that he's kind of been waiting on. And hopefully the kind of plan is to release it this Friday along with the release of the album. That would honestly be the smartest move from the label. Could you imagine if the album drops on Friday and the very same day the album drops, they drop the Cole Bennett video with Uzi? Holy shit, that would run up those numbers crazy. And of course, if you're on Spotify and you just played the Lil Tecca and Lil Uzi song, then you kind of on Tecca's page and you just see that he dropped an album, you're probably going to be like, whoa, might as well check that out as well. So yeah, hopefully that's kind of like the plan. Hopefully the label has kind of thought that through, but yeah, we'll kind of see what happens with that right here. So yeah, overall, as I said, with Lil Tecca, in the lead up to this project, it definitely hasn't been the best case scenario. We've seen single after single kind of not do that well, but it's not looking all terrible for him. As I said, he's got the Uzi feature in the tuck. That could be a big look. So yeah, I'm curious to see what these first week numbers are going to be looking like. And of course, you guys know I'm going to be reporting on that when they come out. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the current state of Lil Tecca's career and whether or not you think he's going to flop or not. I'm curious to know. Also, before we finish this video, I want to give a couple quick shout outs from the Instagram. Big shout out to Dave Gotti, and also died in 1993 for following me over on my IG. Much appreciated, you two. If you guys don't follow your boy, man, at your dick, make sure to. You guys know what to do. Also, remind about the big cartel where we have a couple merch pieces available. Link in the description if you want to cop. Also, thanks a lot for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications, all that good YouTube stuff. Always much appreciated. And there are more videos of mine on screen right now. Make sure to check them out if you haven't.